Hello and welcome to Carnage Unleashed. I am Kev Nevick. With me, as always, are my co-host Wade and Clayton. Good evening, gentlemen. Happy Monday. Clayton, let's start with you. How you doing on this wonderful evening?
Hey, all's good up in Bowling Green, man. We had a heck of a UFC card last weekend. We'll cover that here in a couple minutes, but I'm in college, so I was working on a paper right before this. So happy to get a break from that for sure.
I don't miss those days. Wade, how about you? How are you doing on this Monday?
I'm doing fine, just getting the week started off, and yeah, I'm excited to talk about this UFC card that just happened.
Well, I won't make either of you wait too long to talk about it. That will be our first topic of the night, but let me take just a minute to address our audience here. We've got viewers on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Thank you all very much for joining us. We also, those of you on Twitter, I just can't see you. So let us know in the comments below if you have a question for us of any of the topics we're going over tonight. They are scrolling on the bottom of the screen. There's your little spoiler alert, so you can see what's coming. If you have questions about it, get them in there. Or if you have any other questions, anything that comes to mind, combat sports related, get them in there. We'd love to hear from you. We love the comments. We love our chat. So Clayton, Wade, let's start UFC 293. I'll let you gentlemen kick it off. You want to go through the entire card? I know we're going to spend a lot of time on the main event going round by round. So I'll just hand it over to you, gentlemen. Wade, where do you want to start?
Yeah, I just had a couple highlighted fights that I wanted to talk about. I was kind of getting some work done as I was watching it, and I really started watching it when it came to the Jack Jenkins. I don't know if you've seen that, but he got tossed and broke his elbow. So he got picked up, and when he went down, he goes to post. That's a big no-no. If you ever been in wrestling or anything, you learn how to fall and not post. And he posted his arm, and his elbow just blew. It was gnarly.
Viewer discretion advised if you guys look that one up on Twitter after this.
Yes.
I learned that lesson on the football field, Wade, actually. You probably remember. You remember seeing me with that big club. Something very similar. When you're overthrown going across the middle and someone takes your legs out from under you, it's not a good idea to try to break your fall with just your one arm. So for me it was my my forearm and my wrist that got fractured. But yeah, it's hard to fight that instinct. That is gnarly. And what up? We got our first chat. MPG Opie, what up? Glad to see you.
Hey, what's up, Opie?
Thank you for being here on Twitch.
Awesome. Yeah. The funny thing about that, well, not funny per se, but I was just scrolling through social media. I was scrolling through social media, and I just kept seeing these crazy, gnarly things happen. Two guys, and it was like an MMA match, and they're getting tossed around, and they post with their hit my knee, post with their leg, and they're broke their knee, and I'm like, oh, this is nope, I'm not wrestling or doing anything right now, because if this is a sign, I'm not doing anything. And then tuned into UFC 293, and dude got tossed and broke his elbow. I was like, ugh.
Everyone kept posting Anderson Silva's leg break, Chris Weidman's leg break. Twitter, come on now. We know what happened. We don't need to see that one again.
I don't need to see it again. Oh man, it's so gnarly. But the next fight it was a really good fight. Manel Cape, I don't know how to say his name, Cape or something like that, and then Felipe dos Santos. Did you watch that fight, Clayton?
I did. Cape just kind of put on a show, man. I had it 29-28, but he looked great the entire time, and his call out of Kai Kara France at the end, that's how you sell yourself right there. He said that if you chicken out 2 weeks before the card again, I will show up to City Kickboxing and we'll just spar. So
yep.
If you want to sell yourself, that's how you do it right there.
Yeah, for sure. I think he put on a great display. But at that, you gotta give it up for Felipe dos Santos. I don't know if you guys know, that was his like UFC debut.
Yeah,
I believe. Yeah.
notice.
Yeah, it was his UFC debut. So he got called up. He actually trained with Charles Oliveira, former lightweight champion in the UFC. And yeah, he got called up, took the opportunity. He's only 20, like 21, 22, something like that. He's really young. Debuting a top 10. Cape is number 10 in the flyweight division. That's a hell of a debut. And to go all 3 rounds.
And flyweight's just such an interesting division because I did a lot of research on this a little bit ago because I got down a rabbit hole after class one day. And there's not a lot of guys at the bottom and there's not a lot of guys in the heavier weight classes because people just naturally aren't that big.
Yeah.
So flyweight's always looking for contenders. And if Felipe dos Santos sticks around, we could be in for an exciting run here, guys. If he's willing to take on a top 10 dude with 2 weeks of prep time,
yeah,
and he's training with Charles Oliveira, that's a recipe for success right there.
Oh, absolutely. It's got to boost his confidence too because Cape was actually a world champion in Risen. It's a Japan promotion. He was a world champion in that. So to come in on a debut UFC top 10, to go the distance all 3 rounds, and to look good in some of it. You did see that he was really young though, because he was really young and reckless, just throwing crazy shots and just staying in the pocket. He got rocked a couple times.
Absolutely. But you got to expect that, right? For sure. From a young guy fighting a top 10 guy. And like I said, the top of flyweight can get pretty good, but they're always looking for contenders. So
yeah,
him even being in there is a huge step forward for him.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Did you got any like big fights that you saw that you thought were really good?
I got a couple. This one wasn't great, but just kind of hurt my heart a little bit. Landon Quiones, he was on last season of The Ultimate Fighter. He was on the prospects team with McGregor. I really liked his story. It just kind of seemed like he was just a kid in Florida working his butt off to try and make it to the big show.
Mm-hmm.
He lost his preliminary fight. Oh, there we go. We're back.
Yep.
But he lost his preliminary fight, but I kind of felt for the kid. He stuck out for me, and Dana brought him in after the season, and he got 30-27s across the board to take an L, but he'll be back. He's a young guy too. He's only like 23, 24. So he's got plenty of time. Another one that really stuck out to me was former NFL football player Austin Lane making his first real fight in the UFC. His first one ended in an eye poke, but he got knocked out by Justin Tafa. He caught him with one of those big overhands, and that was all she wrote, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's Tafa's signature. That overhand right just landed perfect.
He's just big. He's just big, man. They both are. Both of the Tafa boys are. Oh
yeah, for sure. Speaking of big boys, Volkov. Volkov versus Tai Tuivasa. He is huge.
Yeah. When your entire head is above the cage, how do you compete with that? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
You can't teach size.
It's insane. Kevin, just so you can get an idea how big this guy is. Tai Tuivasa is 6'2", 265. Volkov is 6'7", 264. And he makes Tai look like a little kid.
My God. I'm going to work on getting a visual for the audience.
That would be like me standing next to LeBron for all of our viewers at home.
It's insane. You saw just that size and that length that Tuivasa couldn't get that overhand right. He likes that overhand right too, so he couldn't get in and land anything too much. He just kept getting jabbed out.
Tuivasa's just not. Yeah, his style just didn't work there. He likes to get inside. He's a big stand and bang guy, but when you're 5 inches shorter than the dude you're fighting, you got to mix it up a little bit. He's just been really predictable in his last couple fights. And granted, he's been fighting like he's fought Cyril Gane, not Sergey Spivak, the other one, Sergey Pavlovich, the number 1 guy at heavyweight right now, and now Alexander Volkov, who I think is number 5, maybe.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yep. He's just big, man. And he's only 34. People act like, and he's been a pro since 2009. He's been taking some losses, but he's on a 3-fight win streak now, and heavyweights bloom late. So
it has, yeah.
If he sticks around and keeps winning, he could challenge for the title, especially with the uncertainty surrounding John Jones.
Yeah.
There's no reason this dude couldn't fight for the title within the next 2 years.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why he said he wanted to do his one last run for that title shot and to get that belt. And I mean, he looked great. I will say the only thing that looked good on Ty was his leg kicks. It looked like it was hurting Volk a little bit because he stands up. He's that stand-up, like, kickboxer type. So that front leg's always out there. So Ty Tuivasa was hitting those leg kicks pretty good. And he's got some heavy leg kicks. You saw his big red on his leg, but Volk displayed some grappling.
Yeah, he did. You don't see Ezekiel. He's the second guy ever to pull off an Ezekiel choke in a fight.
Yeah.
I can't remember who the first one was. I saw it like on Twitter immediately afterwards because I was like, when they read finished by Ezekiel choke, I was like, what the heck is that? I've never heard of that.
Yep. Yeah, and you can't really see it there, but what it kind of is he's got his arm around his back of his head and his neck right there, and then the other hand is on top, and his fist is in his throat, and you just squeeze, and it's a blood choke, so it just starts to go unconscious. You start to lose that light, if you will.
Yeah, always a good thing to tap there, but Tuivasa is just so much fun, man. It sucks that he's not been able to put one together.
I know. He had that good run and got that title shot and then lost and just hasn't put it together since then. And it's kind of sad because I was kind of waiting I really wanted him to win so I could see his nasty ass shoey, but because it's always fun, but so nasty.
They're fun, but that's gross, dude. Like, I'm so happy that's not a thing over here. Like that, no. If I could,
do you know what a shoey is?
Oh, I know exactly what a shoey is. One of our correspondents, our NASCAR correspondent and Bears podcaster, Nate, had to do a shoey when he lost to me a couple of months ago. So, yeah, if you don't know what a shoey is, go subscribe to Bite Size Sports. We've got it clipped for you.
That'd be a great fantasy.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Absolutely.
Last place in the league does a shoey.
I think the bet was someone's going to lose a 3-0 series lead. He bet that the Boston Celtics are going to come back from 3-0 to win it all, and he bet a shoey on it. So, in my opinion, the punishment fits the crime.
Yeah.
We got a comment here from Zach. 30s are prime time for heavyweights.
That's so true, Zach. Like, guys, Francis Ngannou was 37, I think, when he finally won the heavyweight title. He was 36 or 37. And you know, when guys at lightweight are 36, 37, they're on the way down or at gatekeeper status by that point.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Heavyweight.
I don't know what it is. But heavyweights, when they start to get in their 30s, like, I mean, who was it? It was a light heavyweight champ.
Jan? Are you talking about Jan?
Yes. Jan was 34 when he won, I think. So,
yeah, those heavier guys just peak later. That's one of the reasons though why heavyweight can be so exciting, because I looked this up one time. 56% of heavyweight fights end in a finish or end in a knockout, not a finish, in a knockout. Wow. So when those big boys put leather to face, stuff Stuff happens, man.
Yeah. I mean, when you got
Anybody,
265 behind your fist, things are going to happen.
truthfully, anybody can beat anybody on any given night. It takes one lucky overhand that happens to clip your chin, and that's it.
Yeah. And that's why only one heavyweight has defended the belt 3 times in a row.
Right.
Which is Stipe, if you didn't know.
Cleveland's finest, baby. Represent.
Hey, Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's just crazy. And that wasn't even the craziest part of the night. The main event.
Oh my God, I was so happy when this happened. You guys have no idea.
Yeah, so if your viewers didn't watch the first episode, we talked about who we wanted to win, and I said I want Adesanya to win because I just hate Sean Strickland. Clayton over here wanted Sean to shake up the world.
Guilty as charged. But Sean Strickland did in fact shake up the world with he didn't just win, he dominated that fight.
Dominated.
Walked down Israel Adesanya for 49-46 across the board. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's insane. So he won my respects, honestly, because he dominated and he showed humility and humbleness and like that crazy talk that he was doing and everything and his persona or whatever. He was humble in his win and he had a lot of respect for Izzy, and that won me some respect. Now, do I like him? I don't know. If he keeps that up, I might become a fan. But
when he started off the press conference with here's the thing about the Chinaman, everybody. I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Dude, his sound bites are insane. I was not aware of many of his sound bites until actually earlier today. Somebody, my buddy Mike sent me a DM. It was just a clip. It was like 4 minutes of Sean Strickland sound bites, and some of them made me laugh hysterically. Other ones, I was like, I can't believe you just said that, dude. Wow. Okay, but he's a character, absolutely. I can't imagine. Do you think Dana wanted him to win? You know, that's the thing. That's the narrative I keep hearing. Is like the UFC did not want it to go this way, man. This is
I
not
don't
how they
think
wanted
so.
to go.
I don't think
so.
Wade, you go first. You go first as to why.
What up, Drake?
So I was thinking, because they wanted that originally, Duplessis, or however you say his name, they wanted that fight. And it was, I bet you if that would have been the fight, it would have been craziness. People would have tuned in from everywhere. It would have been massive because, I mean, you got Duplessis, who was just on a tear, just tearing through people. And you got Izzy, and then they had their little beef or whatever, and it was a marketing gold there for the UFC. You know, they like to market great fights.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of where I was at too. That realistically probably would have been the first UFC event in Africa if that would have came together. And our fellow co-founder of Carnage Media, Zach Dominique, just said in the comments, shout out to you, Zach. Dana did say he wants to run it back. I don't know, man. Izzy's 2-3 in his last 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's so crazy to think about because of how well he's cleaned out that division. Mm-hmm. He might not be 2-3. He might be 3-2. But like my point still stands. Like, is he on a downward slide? I don't know, maybe. But is it time for the UFC to move in a new direction for the middleweight division? It could be. But I saw a meme today. It was like Dana with like super wide eyes, and he said, and it was when the entire UFC PR team resigned after the fight on Saturday. And I was like, yeah.
Yep. Sounds about right.
You truly.
Oh yeah. I mean, I saw a little post-fight interview with Dana, and they're asking him like, "What did you talk to Izzy after the fight?" And he was like, "Yeah, we talked to him." And he's like, "Are you all right?" And Izzy told him, "He's like, we'll talk about it later." And then you have Izzy going into the post-fight interview, and he's like kept it short, sweet, and got out of there. He didn't really answer too many questions. It's just, I'm not taking anything away from Sean Strickland, because when we break down round by round how he dismantled Izzy, he made him look silly.
Look bad. Like, nobody makes Israel Adesanya look bad. You can
No.
outmatch the guy. Sean, pull up that comment, Kev. I saw a comment earlier about the Philly shell. Pull that back up, because that comment, that comment sums it up. Sean Strickland, for those of you who don't know, like literally stands straight up and like Floyd Mayweather's his hands. And he said on the Joe Rogan Experience, like, look, I have the dumbest style in the world. You can take me down, but you're not going to hold me down. That's such a crazy attitude to approach MMA with.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a weird stance that he has. It's like a Muay Thai kickboxing stance, but like incorporated with the Philly style. Like, it's so odd, but it works.
And looks like he's got braces on his knees, because his knees are locked straight the whole time. Yeah. I got nothing, man. I've never seen any stance like that.
Because if you any coach like coaching somebody and you see your fighter doing that, they're like, dude, don't stand straight up. You're gonna get knocked out. Like, it's not a good stance. Your legs are gonna get chopped out from under you.
Dude, I do.
But a crazy stat,
and they
though,
tell
is
you not to do that. That you'll just pass out, just being a regular old person. If you lock your knees, so you can just faint, just out of stress. I couldn't imagine, standing toe to toe with somebody with my knees locked like that. But it worked. I mean, he kept his head well protected. I mean, there were a lot of head kicks, he just had everything pretty well defended, and it looked kind of, it didn't look so bad to me in that first round until right at the very end, when he caught Izzy with that big right, and then it was like, oh, this is happening. Okay, that was when it sort of, like, to me, for the rest of the fight, it was just sort of a downhill, downhill as far as like kind of an easy slope, not a downward spiral for Strickland, but it was almost just like he was coasting downhill. Felt like he was always the one moving forward.
For sure. I think that was the big thing too, is the pressure that Sean had. And the crazy stat about that too, I was going to say, is Sean Strickland has the highest defensive percentage in the middleweights, which is insane. You saw it against Izzy. I remember them going back in like round 3 or something like that, and Izzy's like, I can't find my jab. And I was like, arguably the best middleweight to say I can't find my jab.
Here's the thing, though, and this is a question for both of you. Do you think we'll see more guys who approach training with like a sparring heavy stance like Sean does? Because for those of you who don't know, Sean Strickland spars like almost exclusively for training. Nobody does that. You can't do that. You're going to get hurt. But his understanding of like range and head movement is on another level. And he made not arguably, the second greatest middleweight of all time look like an amateur. Another Zach Dominique comment. I think Sean said that. Like, it was going through his head during the fight. Like, am I fighting an amateur? Like, what's going on? Because, like I said, nobody does that to Izzy, especially not in a stand-up fight. That's crazy. Yeah,
it was absolutely insane. And most of his strikes, it just looked like it was just 1-2, just a jab, straight, and just perfect timing, perfect range. With that, coupled with that pressure, he made Izzy fight on his heels the whole time. And the round 2, all the judges gave it to Izzy. I mean, it could have went either way. Izzy could have lost all 5 rounds.
Yeah. The second round was definitely the closest.
Yeah.
I don't know. How'd you have it, Wade?
I had it just like the judges.
I did too.
4-1. I know I was in the round 3, and I'm like, after round 3 happened, and I'm like, man, I want to say Izzy could be up, but I'm like, nope. I know it's 2-1 Sean right now. I know it. Oh man, then going into round 4, and I'm like, all right, he's gonna have some urgency, and didn't seem to have any urgency.
Sean just did the same thing almost. Like
Yeah.
he's hit fundamentals, which is really weird to think about with Sean Strickland, but like just fundamental MMA boxing won in that fight. It really is that simple.
Yep. I really think
that just 1-2s.
Yep. I really think that knockdown in round one just it scared Izzy. He's like, oh, he can actually knock me out because I didn't think that he could knock me out.
The first guy to ever knock down Israel Adesanya, not Alex Pereira, it was Sean Strickland. Make it make sense. Somebody.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, Kev, look on Twitter for it's like an American Sean Strickland. It's like an American flag edit of Sean Strickland knocking down Izzy. Wade, did you see that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I did not see that. No.
Kev, do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't, but it sounds worth finding. So
it's worth finding.
That sounds like Sean Strickland.
Oh my god, it was so funny. It's about the knockdown. But let's jump into round 5 because the end of round 5, like that was when Sean knew he had it in the bag.
Yep.
Nobody talks to Izzy like that. Nobody does that.
Come on. Let's go.
Just getting in his grill, still walking him down. He didn't take a step backwards the entire time, it seemed like. And he just had his number the entire fight. There was nothing Izzy could do in Australia, which is another crazy part, is hometown crowd for Izzy, except Sean was getting a lot of cheers at the press conference, which was kind of funny, I guess. I like that.
Yeah.
But overall, wow. Just a crazy, crazy upset of a very talented fighter.
Yep. I always thought he was going to come out saying crazy stuff after he won, and he was humble in it. He earned my respect. Man.
I can tell you're saying that through gritted teeth right now.
I am. I was like, I do not like Sean, but you got some of my respect. You got to show respect where respect's due, and he earned it.
For those of you who don't know, Sean had kind of a tough upbringing. His childhood was, I think, not being great would be an understatement. So like seeing him, and he battled some legal problems. Even when he was with King of the Cage, he talked about this. When he was with King of the Cage, the whole reason he took his first title fight with them over in South Africa was because he needed money to like pay his lawyer and bail bondsman to help get him out of legal trouble. So to see like a kid go from that to outboxing arguably the greatest kickboxer in MMA history. What a story. What a story. But here's my question for you, Wade. Where does the UFC go if they don't go with Izzy?
Yeah. Where do they? I mean, do you have to go Duplessis? Like,
I have an alternate reality that I'm gonna hit you with, and I want you to know, and I want to see what you think. I think that they don't give it to Izzy right away. Here's why. PFL has already launched PFL Africa, right?
Yep.
And they're trying to break into that market. They have Francis Ngannou now. They're trying to, take the UFC spot. They're taking steps to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the UFC throws together a card with Duplessis versus Izzy headlining it in Cape Town, South Africa. I think that that's the move.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that angle, but because I think I saw a headline that said something about PFL was looking to buy Bellator.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're making moves, and I didn't know it makes sense to try to go down to Africa, just getting Francis. So if the UFC is smart and they're the top organization, they got to get to Africa first.
Yeah, and if they've obviously, like, you don't become the number one and stay the number one for 30 years without being business savvy. And I really think that making a fight in Africa, that would be summertime because they're south of equator. I'll say like late January, early February. Can you imagine if UFC 300 was in Africa? That won't happen, but imagine how crazy that would be.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But
Yeah.
I think that's the direction they should go with Izzy. But for Sean, and this kind of fits the timeline too, why not wait for the winner of Paulo Costa versus Khamzat Chimaev? That's next month.
Oh, yeah.
Or you give it to Jared Cannonier, one of those two.
Jared Cannonier, man, yeah.
He's a beast. It's crazy that he used to fight at heavyweight too. Have you seen like his physical transformation?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
He was a little pudgy still, but he had like that strongman build. Like we could tell he's jacked, but then just had a little pudginess, and then he just got absolutely shredded down to 185.
His physique is crazy, man. Like
Shredded.
And he was the backup for 293. He made weight, and like he's 39, I think. He's starting to get up there. So if he wants to make one more run, he's got to do it now.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
There's a lot of ways that the UFC could go, but that's my personal take on what they should do.
And it makes sense to me, so I can 100% back that. But who do you think? Backtracking, who do you think? Do you think Khamzat's going to win that?
Oh yeah, I think Khamzat doesn't have a problem with him. Paulo Costa is super overrated. He is. He's not. He's not that good. He is not that guy. You know why? I think, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but he does not have a win in the UFC over anyone currently on the UFC roster.
Nice. Yeah,
let me double check myself there.
I don't think that he's. I mean, I think he's got a lot of power, and that's about it.
Yeah, he shouldn't even be cutting down to 185. Like, you know what I mean? If you Google weight bully, I think a picture of Paulo Costa would come up.
So he's just looking for that one haymaker. That gives me a chance to pull back Drake's other comment from before, because this is when we were talking about Volkov, but just somebody landing a hand of God, so to speak. So it sounds like that's kind of what we're looking at here. He's got the one knockout. Maybe if he catches him with one, he'll win. But otherwise, you're going the other way, Clayton.
Yeah, for sure. Let me read you guys his UFC wins. He got into the UFC in 2017, fought a guy named Gareth McClellan, Oluwe Bamgobos. I have no idea on that one. I just butchered the crap out of that. Johnny Hendricks after that.
Oh, that's a good one to follow that.
Uriah Hall, Yoel Romero. Then he lost to Izzy, lost to Marvin Vittori, and lost to Luke Rockhold. None of the guys that I listed that he beat are currently in the UFC.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's just a big boy, big punch that makes the weight cut, and he just gets lucky. And that, call me a hater, whatever. I don't care. Paulo Costa's overrated, and he is not even a top 10 middleweight.
I'll second that. I don't think he's that great of a fighter. I think he's just got that
he's just big. He's
got that haymaker power, and it's can he catch that opening or not? And do you have a chin?
Yep. Kev, pull that comment back up about Derek Lewis.
Yeah, it's a Derek Lewis career in a nutshell. Guy has 4 wins where he was absolutely losing, but landed a god hand. And this is Volkov, anyone.
That's exactly what happened when he fought Volkov. Oh my god, he was getting the crap kicked out of him, and then in Derek Lewis fashion, throws a wild overhand right, or was that an uppercut? Either way, he landed a crazy punch with like a minute left and stopped him, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" That's just a tough look for Volkov, man. Like you got to feel for the guy there. Outclassed one of the biggest punchers in MMA history and got caught like right there. I've seen talks of where people want him to fight Volkov again because he's coming off that crazy finish in Salt Lake. Just got a new contract. I'm sure he's ready to get back in there and get some of that money. So, and their timelines are pretty similar. Mm-hmm. So I think that one makes a lot of sense, and that'd be a fun fight too. Everybody likes Derek Lewis. So.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I'd love that.
He says outrageous things. It's funny. My balls was hot.
My balls was hot. Taking
Oh,
off his
man.
shorts and running around the cage after his
Yeah,
last
I was
fight.
gonna
Oh my
say,
God,
what's
that
he gonna
was
take off if he wins that fight? You know, he's gonna be
awesome.
wearing the Emperor's clothes,
shoot.
there, completely naked.
Oh, backtracking a couple fights. We were both wrong on Gone.
Oh yeah, we were.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's all right.
Yeah.
I'll delete the footage.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Sometimes you just got to take the L, and I think we both took a very, very, very tough looking one there.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
I boycotted that card because I don't watch any of them with Rose Namajunas on it anymore. I think it was UFC 274 when she had that really boring title fight.
Oh, yeah.
The same night that Michael Chandler knocked out Tony Ferguson. That was the fight right before that. And since then, I told my friends, like, if she's on a card, I don't care if she's on UFC 300. I'm not watching it. It's not
Really?
happening. I wasted $75 to watch the most boring title fight. We could have gone in our backyard and fought each other, and that would have been more entertaining than that.
Oh, shoot.
Goodness.
She put on clinics, though. I don't know why she fought like that. That was horrible. I think she was scared to take down.
Yeah, and you heard her coach like, yeah, booing. This is what we want. No, it's not.
No.
You got to give them something to score.
I will say she's tough as nails. Did you see she broke her pinky in the first round?
That was gross. Oh my gosh. See
that, it looked like a Z,
right
Chad.
She took it off.
It was a Z. Yeah, and she fought. It broke in the first round and fought the rest, like the next 2 rounds, like that. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. I just saw it afterwards. And I was like, "That's nasty."
Yeah. She moved up a weight class too, which might have been the right move for her. So losing at 125, that's just going to happen, right? You're moving up a weight class. Your body's obviously a lot different at a different weight. So we'll see. She's one of the most popular female fighters the UFC has. So no matter what, they're going to try and market her. Market her, but I was so disappointed. That was one of the highlights of the night. I was like, let's go. We got Thug Rose. We got Gaethje Oliveira in the main event, and Michael Chandler is on the card. It's gonna be fun. And no, I was not happy that we wasted $75 as a team that night.
Yeah, but Ferguson getting knocked out was crazy to watch live. You missed that. You missed that emotion, like what? Because Ferguson is tough. He doesn't get knocked out.
No, his fall is like, it's one of the saddest storylines in MMA. It started with the Gaethje beatdown. Like, you know what I mean? That was one of the first cards after COVID. They let him fight Gaethje for an interim belt because Khabib was stuck in Russia. They couldn't get him over to the States, and he just got the crap kicked out of it, man. Like Gaethje was late. That fight could have been stopped in the 3rd round.
I thought he was going to die. I thought he was going to die. The punishment he was taking, and it was like taking a freaking wooden baseball bat and just hitting a tree, and that thud. Every time he was connected, you just heard it, and I'm like, he's going to die. And he just kept going for all 5 rounds.
And then they finally called it with a minute left or something like that.
Like you already let him take all this damage.
He's already dead. Like Justin. Props to Justin Gaethje though. That's one of the best performances of his career for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Watching Ferguson get watching his demise and watching him lose to Bobby Green in his last fight, that's
Bobby Green.
That's just a tough look.
Yep.
Absolutely. The UFC will book him one more time. I think that I could realistically see them booking him for UFC 300 because that's in 6 months ish. Rough timeline, rough estimate, 6 months. I could see them booking him, giving him a legacy fight, giving him a Jim Miller. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Jim Miller, Tony Ferguson, UFC 300, book it. Anyway.
Book it.
And then
Clayton said it. It's going down.
Book it. Dana, call me. See Scalina 12. Hit me up on Instagram, please.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But
Shoot.
it's everybody likes Tony, and it's so sad to see him lose the way he's been losing over the last couple of years.
It is, but it's time for a new era.
It is. Him and Connor are really the last one big names of that era still around, right?
Yeah,
Because Diaz is gone now, Anthony Pettis is gone now, Cowboy is gone now. Charles Oliveira was there, but he hadn't really hit his stride yet.
yeah.
Like Eddie Alvarez is
people
gone.
forget Oliveira he started young.
Yeah. And he started at 45 too. I don't know how the heck he cut down to 145 because he's not a small lightweight.
No.
But like he fought Max Holloway, he's fought Cowboy. He's really fought the who's who of featherweight and lightweight.
Yeah.
Like this
Shout out to Max Holloway too, getting it done. Our boy.
Yeah.
This dude took the long road to get to the title, and that's part of the reason why I think everybody likes him.
Yeah.
He did it the right way.
And he's just, it is what it is. If you want to be the best, you got to be the best. Blessed era. Woo!
Amen.
I love him. He's my favorite fighter.
I did see a video of Dustin Poirier getting knocked out by the Korean Zombie today, and that made me happy. I'm not a Dustin Poirier fan. I don't know if I've ever told you guys that.
No, not at all.
I'm not a fan.
I don't think so.
He's a poser, I think, realistically. Hear me out. I saw a video of him knocking down an amateur guy at ATT. They were sparring or whatever, and I don't remember what he hit him with, but he hit him with like some crazy combo and dropped him. He like got in his face and was like, and new. And I was like, dog, this guy's trying to help you out, man. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, like the charity work and stuff he does is legit. That's not what I'm saying, but like, I think that some of his like persona is a little bit of a front. So,
instead of being authentic to himself.
Correct. Yeah. And I'm a Justin Gaethje guy, so I was very happy to see the head kick a couple months ago.
I do like Gaethje.
That was nice. Yeah.
Gaethje seems authentic. I like him. Speaking of authentic, Dylan Budka.
There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Speaking of talking to Dana White, yeah.
Someone who's authentic, good human, who is who he is, Dylan Budka. And he was just recently on the Contender Series.
That's right. Taking on Hanekom, and he got that much needed victory on the Tuesday night's battle and got the contract as well, most importantly. So we're going to talk about all of it. Potentially, I don't know how deep we can look into our crystal ball there, but it's very exciting that Dylan Budka is going to be fighting his next fight with the UFC. But what did you guys think of the Contender Series fight? Because for those of you who didn't know, if you weren't watching before, Dylan was fresh off of fighting a heavyweight fight for Renegade Rumble. Help me out, guys.
2 weeks ago.
1 week before? Two weeks. Okay. 2
weeks before we actually had the pleasure of shooting that show, Renegade Rumble 6, and I was holding that camera. I was watching it. It was crazy. The dude is huge that he fought, and he went in there. I think Dylan weighed in at like 208 or something, and the other guy weighed at 250. And he came in first round, rear naked choke, and the clips that went out, it was so viral that he got the call. He got the call, and he went to Baltimore, back home to Baltimore, and got the call to step up a 4 days notice to fight Chad Hanekom, who's 9-2 going in that fight. He's from South Africa. I think they said that he was he had offered to be on the South African pro rugby team, and he chose to go into MMA because he felt he could be a champion. And Dylan took it on 4 days notice and cut 25 pounds.
People don't realize how hard cutting weight is.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You hear that number and it's just like, oh, it's 25 pounds. No, like you're dehydrating yourself. You're in a sauna trying to cut that stuff off. Dylan talked about shadow boxing in his hotel to get those last couple of pounds off to make weight. That's so tough on your body, man. Like, and people don't, like I said, people don't realize how hard that is. So that's a wild accomplishment in and of itself that he got down there.
Yeah. Did you see Strickland, to pull it back to the UFC main event? Did you see his interview after he had just cut weight? I can't remember. He was talking to some folks. So Cormier wouldn't even ask him a question. He's like, "Hey, listen, I know you're not really right there right now. We need to get you some fluids and stuff like that." Like, he couldn't barely even have a conversation. So yeah, to cut that kind of weight is incredible. So yeah, to do that on such short notice. Zach says we're all lying, by the way. He said that cutting is very fun.
I'll tell you what, Zach, your next weight cut, Wade will do it with you.
Oh gosh. Take back. I used to wrestle, so I know a little bit about cutting weight. It's not fun. I had to cut 16 pounds in 2 weeks, and that was horrible back in high school to compete at wrestling. And I was young. I don't know how these UFC fighters do 25 pounds in 4 days. That's just some mental toughness that you don't know how strong you gotta be until you start doing that.
And then you gotta rehydrate yourself and go out and perform. Like, fight, but bell rings, you're in there, you're going. And this was a very grappling heavy fight. I don't know.
It was.
I didn't know a lot about Chad coming into this fight, but very, very wrestling heavy, a lot of holding him against the cage. But Dylan defended 8 takedowns.
Yeah.
That's tough to do for those of you who don't know. Wrestling's a great base for MMA because you can do that. And I think Dylan landed 2 takedowns, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. And he looked good. He looked good defending. He looked good taking down and controlling. In my opinion, you could definitely see the weight cut just from watching his past fights. You see the weight cut seemed a little tax him a little bit on his stamina, but he so mentally strong. He toughed through it, had that control, and he was getting his shots in there. I think he had like 77 strikes to Hanekom's like 33. He was trying to be active, but Hanekom was just trying to hold him against the cage and control him. And Dylan did a great job.
Especially late in the fight, which those of you who missed it, you can check it out on our Twitch channel at the Doghouse. Wolfman and Pity had Dylan on, and they watched the fight, and they watched the whole fight together on the stream. So go check that out if you want to see the highlights and hear it from the man himself. But one of the takeaways that I got in that final round, he was talking about one of those takedown defenses. He was saying, I was getting ready to throw. He's like, I was looking to come in, and he just immediately, as soon as we stood up, as soon as we had gotten out of the last one, I was ready to throw. And he being Hanekom, pronouns, pal, got for him, and Dylan had to play defense again. So yeah, he wanted to be even more active, because it was funny. I think Dana asked him. He said a lot of great things about Dylan. One thing he did say was it was a boring fight, right? He did.
Yeah,
that was.
Yeah. I was so nervous. I was so nervous because Bisping, that whole fight is just like he's giving them props, like they're competing and stuff like that. But he was like, "This is boring to fight. You're not going to get a contract this way." And I'm sitting here like, I know I've watched this so many times. This is what's going to happen. And I'm, come on, throw some elbows or something. And then I think the last minute after the fight, I'm like, I don't know if he's going to do it. And I lean over to Zach, co-founder Carnage Media, if you don't know. And I was like, the one thing that could bode well for Dylan is that he takes a fight at whatever weight class. He doesn't shy away. He doesn't back down, and he'll do it. If he can make it, he does it. He said that in his interview, and that's what helped him. And Dana respected that, and he's like, you know what? I need that kind of a fighter in here. He's like, you got that contract, but I'm going to get you down to 170. So 170. If Dylan can make 170, That's gonna be scary.
Look out, man.
That
Look out, man.
he's like Dylan's not like crazy tall, but like Dylan is built. Like,
yeah, he got a lot of muscle.
Yeah, he does. At 170, that'd be so wild. At 170, oh my gosh, he would be like Paulo Costa, just bigger than everybody else in that division.
Yeah,
that'd be so much fun to watch. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I think he could do it. I think it's going to be like a 6-month process of him just being strict on getting with like a nutritionist, and like I think Dana said he was going to go have him talk with the PI and the Performance Institute, for anyone who doesn't know, for the UFC, and see if he can actually make it down to 170. So I think if he can be strict 6 months and get down to 170, he's gonna dominate even more. He's gonna be such a big 170 pounder.
I agree, and I have an opponent in mind that I want to run by you guys. This guy popped into my head. This is another anyone, anytime, anywhere, any weight kind of guy, which is important because he could make 170 or 85, and he's fighting this weekend. Kevin Trailblazer Holland.
I had a feeling you're going there. That'd be fun. That'd be real fun.
I like it.
And Kevin Holland's super well-rounded too, like Dylan is. Like he can wrestle. He's got a good BJJ. I think he's a BJJ black belt, I want to say. Kevin Holland.
Yeah, I believe so. Yep.
And the guy had a kickboxing match with Wonder Boy. Like the dude's crazy. So that'd be such a fun fight. Oh my gosh. That'd be a good one. So if I am, Mick Maynard, Dana, all those guys, and I'm like trying to set Dylan up with his first opponent, I think Kevin Holland might be the guy.
What do you think, chat? Let us know. You got any names to throw out?
Come on, you guys,
in the comments.
Rate my take. I work for Hot Take Sports for a reason. You guys got to rate my take.
Yes, get them ratings in there. No, I'm very excited to see that first fight. I also think at 170 it's going to be a pretty explosive first outing. Zach says that Dylan's going back to Vegas to see if his body can handle it next week, I think he said. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
Like we said, Dylan's never cut down to 170 before, but like if you're gonna figure out how to do that, the UFC PI is the place to be.
Oh, absolutely.
They got that literally down to a science.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Those guys know what they're doing, and Dylan's a very disciplined person. He said that in his post-fight interview. He trains 3 times a day. He takes recovery seriously. He takes nutrition seriously. He has a private nutritionist, and that's something that a lot of guys like maybe don't see the value in, but he does, and that's so big. And he's only 23. That's the craziest part. He's in the UFC at the age of 23.
He's still young. So crazy. He's so young. He's got such a long career ahead of him. So, I guess don't rush it. Don't rush it. Take the time to cut properly down to 170. I feel like he really just needs to cut down to where his walking body weight is like 190, 195. I think he walks around right now at like 215. So if he can nutrition down to like 190, 195, and cut that 20 pounds of water weight, that's what most 70 pounders are doing at that in the UFC level. So.
Well, Khabib walked around at 190 and he could make 55. So that might be the next step. No, I'm just kidding. But
you could be with Patty Pimlet, blow up to 185 and cut down to 45.
That dude's kidneys are gonna crap out.
Oh my god! That's another thing too. It's an unspoken thing, I guess, is just like. That kind of Patty Pimlet style, like gaining weight and cutting, is dangerous because it breeds like eating disorder and all that stuff. So you really want to just be smart about it, like getting a nutritionist and cutting down the right way, so you don't get that warped sense of eating with food.
Right. And it's crazy how much bigger he gets.
Yeah.
Like, you can even see it like in his neck. Like his
Mhm.
neck size is almost double. It looks
Yeah.
like it. I don't know, man. I just don't get how a UFC athlete can do that. Especially,
Nobody.
did we see the results of that in his last fight? He did not look good against Jared
No,
Gordon.
he
Not
didn't.
at all. I thought he lost that fight. I looked to my buddy Matt, who was sitting next to me, and I was like, that's it. The Paddy Pimblett hype train is done, and they gave it to him. So
Yep.
too close.
UFC conspiracy there.
Yeah, that. Yeah, no comment. Anyway.
Shoot. Yeah.
Well, Wade, should we talk about a promotion where we know there are no conspiracies because we know the owners? Is it time to preview Carnage Fight Series? I hear there's a tournament.
Absolutely. So I'm also the co-founder of Carnage Fight Series with my buddy Zach, and we throw on kickboxing shows in Indiana, Angola, Indiana, to be specific. And so we're doing a new style this time. So we're going to be doing a 145-pound tournament and a 155-pound tournament. 145, we got RJ Flores, Preston Weichart, Justin Thompson, Bear Rosario, Walter Rodriguez, Rex Hoffel, Bryce Lang, and Brandon, I'm probably going to mess this up, Mewhorter.
Yep, that's right. Brandon Mewhorter.
Yeah. So they'll be competing for the 145-pound tourney. And then we have a 4-man tournament that's going to be fought in one day. So they're going to fight the first and then fight for the belt at the end of the night. And it's going to be John Bales, Peyton Spurlock, Quentin Richards. Shout out to Q for being a commentator for us. And Dale Brown. And so we are going to go live Thursday, and we're going to pick them out of a hat and get the order for them, and they will be competing for CFS belt. The 145ers will fight through, and then the championship belt will be held on CFS 4. That date's to come, which will also be debuting a 170-pound tournament and a heavyweight tournament. But the fights, we got 3 additional fights confirmed on the side for CFS 3. Is going to be Tom. I never know how to say his last name. It's horrible. Abruzzi, and then Thomas Wayne at heavyweight, and then we have Day Bay and versus Hunter Betts at 170. Connor Smith versus Chris Bailey at 135. And then a potential belt fight. We've been trying to find a guy for Lino, Street Jesus himself. He fought on our card the last 2 times at 125, and it's hard to find a 125-pounder willing to fight him. He's just striking fear in everybody.
Look, I know a few 180-pounders that are scared of him. They're not fighters, but that's how much they weigh. Listen, I wouldn't get in a fight with him at my weight. So I get it. But hey, listen, we want to be the man, you got to beat the man. That's what Ric Flair said. A lot of other people have said it. So fight real Street Jesus. Hey, shout out to him, by the way. He just had a promotion over the weekend in Defiance. I hear it went really well over there. So hopefully we'll be able to stream those future broadcasts right here on Carnage Media over on our pay-per-view site. But yeah, shout out to him, and we need to find a combatant for him. So if you're interested, reach out to Wade, reach out to Zach. If you can't find them, you can reach out to me. I'm just going to reach out to Wade and Zach, but I'm happy to be the middleman if I need to be.
Yep. So yeah, CFS will be held on September 30th. So we got a couple weeks. So somebody needs to step up, quit being scared, fight them for the belt.
There's got to be somebody out there that wants a challenge, right? There's got to be
Right?
somebody. I get why people don't want to fight him, but there's got to be somebody out there who wants to test themselves, right? There's got to be somebody.
Gotta be. Absolutely. So that's our next one, and then we got a couple more things lined up. We're Carnage Media side. Dylan Budka is gonna be holding his boxing series, MMBS 7, on October 14th.
Oh, October
Yep.
14th.
Yep.
MMBS 7. Look at that. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Those,
Yeah.
Clayton, we've called a few of those before. Those are always a good show.
Always. And a lot of those guys are actually on the Carnage Fight Series card coming up on September 30th. One name that stuck out to me that's going to entertain you no matter what, RJ Flores.
Absolutely.
No matter what, he will get
in your face, just throwing. In your face throwing. That's what he does.
Very exciting to have him on the CFS card coming up for sure, because he's
absolutely
in there and throw hands.
Yep, absolutely. And it's good. That's why we got into this, like Carnage Media and putting on CFS. We're trying to get these unknown fighters seen in such a media driven world nowadays. So that's what we aim to do, is find some local fighters that's what they want to do, and just give them a platform. So that's what we're aiming to do, and that's what Dylan's aiming to do with his promotion too. I know I talked to him on the side about that too, and that's to get these local fighters some more attention. Speaking of that, we just got a new promotion too that we're going to be shooting for. It's October 28th. I don't know their name yet, but it'll be a West Virginia card. So we'll be going down to West Virginia and shooting a card. And on this card, it's going to be kickboxing, boxing, and MMA. So kind of like that one championship feel.
Headlined by Demolition Fight Team's own David the Nuke Music.
Absolutely, yeah.
Making his return to West Virginia. He announced that today, actually. That dropped earlier today. Make sure to go check him out on social media. I believe it's The Great Nuke MMA, maybe. Let me look that up. I of course, want to make sure that we get David's socials right.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's going to be quite a show right there.
Yep, I got it right. The Great Nuke MMA. Everybody go follow him on Instagram.
Great guy,
great fighter. So much fun. I love calling David's fights.
Yeah. He's another one that's always exciting to watch. Mm-hmm. He may not be like a brawler or anything, but he is very technical. He kind of reminds me like a little Volk. Like, he's technical. Yep. He gets in there and gets out.
He may not be a brawler, but those punches are powerful. Clayton can back me up here. We are often sitting outside of the cage, outside of the ring, with headphones on, and you can hear some of those body shots. It reminds me, sounds like, back in the day when I'd get hit in the face in dodgeball, with those soft balls, and they'd like leave an imprint on your face, that loud smacking sound. Yeah, but you can hear his punches throughout the arena is all I'm getting at. So you won't be disappointed. But again, very technical. Somebody who has some great head movement, great footwork, and can dodge and out and maneuver with some of the best of them here in Ohio. So I'm excited to see that fight down in West Virginia. That's very exciting. We're gonna have a busy month in October. Carnage.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be spooky.
Absolutely. And then the next one, it's kind of unique. It's awesome that's getting here in Ohio. It's a Muay Thai card. We haven't got all the information of it. We do have a date though. It's going to be November 18th, and it's all Muay Thai card. So that should be interesting. I'm looking forward to that, to be able to.
Like we said in the last episode, Patty Pimblett said, like, somebody told him once, "Oh, MMA makes boxing like like MMA is the man's sport, and he goes, no, Thai boxing is a man's sport. So
Yeah,
I'm excited
absolutely.
too. That'll be a good one.
Yep. So
Oh
yeah.
right before
Oh
Thanksgiving, right? Be gearing up for that.
Oh yeah.
yeah. I also want to mention before that November 18th, and you want to get watch Dylan Budka again. He's going to be on Zach and John's live stream, the Doghouse. No, they're going to be watching John Jones Stipe. I know you say it's a little too late, but it's still the big hype around it. They're going to be hanging out and watching that fight. So if you guys want to tune into that on November 11th, Dylan Buck is going to be on the show again. And yeah, you can speak to him live and talk to him, watch the fights together.
I might sneak into that one too. I know people. I might be able to get a pass. Might be able to get a green room pass for that one. That'd be exciting.
Yeah, I think I might mosey on down the road to get in on that live.
Hey, you guys watching fights or something? What's going on here?
What's happening here? Mind if I join?
Am I interrupting your show? Carnage Unleashed is going to invade the Doghouse on November 11th. Look at that.
Oh yeah. They can't keep us. They can't keep us all out, right?
Right, exactly.
Right.
Just two heavyweights. There's three of us. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think that's all what Carnage Media's got so far. So stay tuned for some more news as we get it.
Okay, well, since we're on to the news, I might as well slide in my wrestling minute while we're here. The wrestling minute brought to you by Bite Size Sports and my personal podcast called Markomania, brought to you also by Bite Size Sports. It goes live late Monday night. So if any of this stuff interests you, go ahead and subscribe to Bite Size Sports. We'll be talking about it later on. Now, the one thing I want to talk to you gentlemen about in the world of the squared circle is former UFC alum Charles Montgomery Punk, aka Phil Brooks, has gotten fired from AEW after allegedly putting one of his co-workers in a guillotine, as we call it in this business. Back where he's working, they call it a front face lock. But after a scuffle over whether or not to use real glass in a wrestling match, CM Punk got into a fight with Jack Perry, the son of the former 90210 actor who is now an AEW wrestler. They got into a fight during a pay-per-view in between. So Jack had his match. CM Punk was next in line. He's standing in Gorilla. Jack Perry knocks on the glass, says, "Real glass, cry me a river." CM Punk knows that that's meant for him because they had a fight about real glass 1 week ago. They get in a fight backstage during the biggest pay-per-view in wrestling history. There's 80,000 people in London waiting for the show to start. These two are wrestling each other in the hallway, throwing monitors at each other, and it ends up leading to CM Punk doing the job. He goes out, he does his match, and then he's fired later that week, right before a pay-per-view to take place in the United Center, which is in Chicago, which is where CM Punk is from. So then the boss gets booed to high heaven because the man was booed or was fired. So, guys, what do you think? Another UFC return for CM Punk, or is his fighting days finally over?
You know, I've never trained MMA a day in my life, and I might be able to go in there and beat CM. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, there's no chance that this dude ever goes back to the UFC. UFC got really lucky with Brock Lesnar because he was an all-American college wrestler. He tried to play in the NFL. Like, the dude was a superhuman athlete, and obviously he worked out. Like, CM Punk had never done anything like that before. Like,
he was Power Ranger.
Oh yeah.
No, he was a guy who had been put through tables for years. Like, that's how he got popular with the fans, was the ECW style of, death matches. So it wasn't really about his athletic prowess really ever.
No.
Even with that, he was always a good mic guy. There's a reason, the term pipe bomb promo is usually associated with him because he's really good at being an asshole on television. and that's what made him millions of dollars. So in that sense, he could be good. But no, I think maybe in a world of celebrity boxing, I could see somebody paying CM Punk a lot of money to go in there and just get absolutely destroyed, and
Would
he
that
might
person's name rhyme with Rake Saul?
there you go. Yeah,
That'd be, oh my God. I have been watching some of Jake Paul's fights. I don't even think I would watch that one. Like,
no,
there's
that wouldn't. Zach says, what about Bellator or PFL?
Zach, I think if Bellator signed CM Punk, that truly is the end for Bellator. MMA.
You want to know? I've heard that the only reason Dana signed CM Punk the first time around was because Bellator had some money and had some momentum, and back then no one knew for sure that CM Punk was going to be a can, and so the idea was he basically just gave Dana that contract, and that's why he got to fight people with no experience, was because he just didn't want Bellator to have that draw. And it was just more of like, even if it blows up in my face, I can take the hit, but if it ends up being a hit for them, I can't afford that.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't. It would be funny if he went that route, but I think
that
I
is
think his window
that's
is
a power move by the UFC. Yeah.
I think I want to say he got $500,000 to show, like just to show. That was his show money.
To get beat by a dude making $30K, I think.
Yeah.
30, I'd be so mad.
Yeah.
That,
no wonder he got beat so fast, right? You know how motivating that would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You paid this guy how much?
Gosh.
All right.
That's,
I'm gonna handle this quick.
Yeah.
Although I think for that wrestling promotion, I think that's a bad move. Like, you want that entertainment and stuff, right? Why fire somebody?
Talk about thing they've had in a long time. I mean, they just had the biggest show in wrestling history, and all anyone can talk about is the backstage brawl. Yeah.
I can understand.
No, Vince McMahon would have turned this into money.
I can understand. Like, if he didn't go out to perform, but he went out and performed. Yeah. Man, that's a marketing.
No, a good boss says at the very least, you two just won't work. And they have 3 shows. They have a Wednesday show, a Friday show, and a Saturday show. So just tell Luke Perry's kid he can't come play on Saturdays anymore. And you make sure your top star. And that's, by the way, the guy they fired is their top merch seller, their top ticket draw. It's not like they just, fired some mid-card guy. This was their biggest guy that they sent packing. So I don't know. Bold strategy, Cotton.
That would be like the UFC firing McGregor then, theoretically, right? Like the guy that brings the most eyeballs to your promotion is obviously talks a bunch of crap on the mic, has had success, and that wow. That's
like
such
in all
an L
businesses,
for AEW.
Right? Like in all the businesses, you have to understand you're going to deal with some assholes
in
the fight business, even when it's the choreographed, fight business, because that's still a very athletic endeavor. Those dudes still get hurt. They still have a lot of pride. You're going to have that, some of them may or may not be juicing, so it might be even the egos might be even worse in the fake fight world than they are in the real fight world, to be honest. I mean, so you got to expect somebody to have it's just such a weird thing. I couldn't imagine somebody getting fired. You fired a millionaire for breaking a couple of TVs. Like he could have replaced. He probably had the money in his locker to replace that.
Yeah. Here's my credit card. Buy yourself something nice on the way out. Like,
take it out of my earnings tonight.
The best part, when he was fired for cause, and during the announcement, the CEO said he feared for his life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. That is crazy fight promotion. So
Vince McMahon would never.
Vince McMahon would never. He would say, "All right, do it again next week, but we're gonna have a camera in here. Damn it, we're recording this." No, that's as old as the hills. Back in the old days, Jeff Jarrett's dad had a sign that said, "Personal issues draw money." It's been a staple of, you got 2 wrestlers that don't like each other. Great, go sell pay-per-views. People believe that they want to fight. It's so crazy.
It's the same concept in MMA. Anytime there's bad blood, sell it, book it.
And people love the drama.
Yes. People love a story. It's the same thing in any combat sport. People will fall in love with a story. McGregor
Mhm.
Diaz sold itself. Khabib
Yeah.
McGregor sold itself. Like,
Yep.
yeah.
DC Jones.
Oh my
Oh
gosh,
my
that
God.
I wouldn't even say that one like sold itself because that would be understating that. Like with all the stuff that was going on there,
Yeah.
like whatever selling itself, like the next tier up is, that's what they did. with
That was
one.
almost
Oh,
like
yeah.
it was written, because you'd have the ups and downs. You'd have the whole, the video when Dana's going up to Cormier and he's like, "Yeah, dude, what was it? What he didn't make weight or whatever, or he popped or something." And then
He
Yep.
popped for like
Cormier's just
cocaine or something like
chomping.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, he popped for cocaine. He's like, "Come on, Dana, you're kidding me." And it's just like all this
let me
drama.
sign. He was like, "Let me sign a waiver. Can I sign a
Yeah.
waiver to fight him
Yeah.
still?" And I was like, "Wow."
The hatred. You knew it was real.
I get it though, man. Like going through camp only to be told a week beforehand, like, "Hey, by the way, this guy did cocaine and you can't fight him anymore." Like, yeah, I would ask to fight him too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'd have done the same thing and be like, let me sign something, Dana."
Right? Man. As long as he wasn't on cocaine during the fight, he'd be fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, there you have it, folks. That was the Wrestling Minute brought to you by Bite Size Sports. Thank you guys
Absolutely.
for entertaining me on that one.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, Kev.
That's all I have for our agenda here, gentlemen. So
Yeah.
I don't know what else.
think-
If you guys have anything else, otherwise we can sign off.
I think that's everything I got. Thank you guys, all of our
Yep.
viewers, for tuning in. We love those comments. Thank you guys
Yes,
very
thank
much.
you.
Yes, very much. Thank you again to everyone on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. We got comments from all around, so that was great. We appreciate that, guys. Are we back next Monday at 8? Are we back for our regularly scheduled program?
Sounds good to me. I'll be
Yep.
there.
All right, sounds good. Well, we will be here. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks again, Opie, for hanging out. We appreciate you. Yeah, give us a like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff on the way out. You can find my socials right here on screen at KevNevic _ at bite _ size sports. Wade, what about you? Where can they find you, sir?
Yep, you can find us at Carnage Media PPV on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all of it. So tune in, follow. I appreciate you guys.
And you guys can find me at cscalina12 on Twitter and Instagram, and follow me and my boys at Hot Take Sports at Hot Take Sports 16. That's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of the above. Yeah, shout out to the boys. I love you guys.
And shout out to all of you at home. Thanks again. We are out of here. We'll see you.